Little quiet this year. Normally, there's lots and lots of fireworks, lots and lots of noise. Never around my house, but around there it goes. I don't know why I started doing these. I could probably go back and look, but that would be defeating the point, wouldn't it? Maybe it was the fact that my family doesn't do much on New Year's. We've done stuff once or twice, but ultimately, never consistently. Ultimately, never. I don't know. It's just the way we've lived. But still I wonder how things would be if they were different. It's no use, of course, because things aren't different and they never will have been different. It only matters in the way that you think about it. Thinking about it is the real thinking about it is the real joy, I suppose. But things have been good, things have been bad, some better than they've ever been, some worse than they've ever been. You know how it goes. But still, I keep wondering how and if things could be different. I keep doing things, maybe not for the purpose of doing them, but just for the purpose of doing something. Not that that's the entire reason, of course, but you can't stop doing things because society will eat you up and leave you with nothing. Suppose that's the nature of being an entity that needs to consume to sustain itself. And yet, I keep wondering what it would be like without. Not that it would be better, of course. It would have its own issues, but I keep wondering. There's a lot of things that I'm doing that you or maybe not even anyone else will see, but one can hope. Some things are progressing faster than others, of course. Some things I'm certain will come to fruition. Others, not so clear. And I keep doing things. And yet, not that nothing comes of these things that I haven't done, haven't finished, but not enough. one would say. But what even is enough? What's the line at which you're putting enough effort into something that you can say, I've done my best, but I don't think that's something that applies to me in quite the same way. I never want to say that it's something that I can't control. Even when I was maybe not a kid, but a young adult. Not that I'm not a young adult, but a younger adult. No, I was still a kid, but even then, I kept saying that these things were my choice, or something that I was actively doing, even though it was obviously not active. It was active in some ways, but not in the majority of ways. But to put effort into something is. Uh, was I always this way? I must have been. Except maybe before I can remember. Well, not that there is a distinct line between before I can remember and when I started remembering things. A lot of people my age, not that I've asked or anything, probably use the pandemic as a good benchmark for remembering things and not remembering things. Can't even remember what was happening during the majority of the pandemic. I just have to go and look through old messages in old servers with old versions of people and old versions of myself. Not that I would trade that for anything else. Being able to look back and know yourself in a more tangible way than in your memory and the memories of others, but it's a little frightening. I suppose it'll be frightening to look back at these if and when I do. In some way, I hope that I won't need to, that someone will come along and distill and word it better than I have any reason to, I have any ability to. That's just wishful thinking. Wording it in any way is helpful, I suppose, even if no one's listening, even if no one will listen. Because wording things takes it out, puts it in a real place. I suppose uploading it then would make it even more real than just saying it. And yet, I still don't think that it's all there could be, of course, because we all evolve, we all grow, experience things, become better in some ways, worse in others, different in more. But we do become different, even if it's just by experiencing things, even if it's just by forgetting things. But it feels like I'm stagnating year after year of will it happen? Will it not? Not that things aren't happening, of course. Things will always be happening, but happening to me? Of course they are. But I suppose that's just getting older. Every year is less and less impactful because every year is less and less of your life. Every year is less and less relevant to the formative years of your mind. Every year is not the same, but similar. All the biggest changes happen in your early life, all the biggest changes that can affect you, that is, in the most potent way. But I don't want things to stop changing. I don't want things to stop happening. So I keep doing things and I keep feeling like I'm not putting enough effort. Maybe it's because so much of the things that I'm doing have been handed to me, so much has been not my own doing. Not that I haven't worked and put effort into those things after they've been handed to me. Not that they're not things that are happening that I'm doing things about. That it feels like I'm still here. Still in the same house, still with these same people, still with these same things to do. Maybe it's because I don't know exactly what I want to do. Maybe it's because I don't know exactly what will be something that I do. It's got more clear as time has gone on, but it's also gotten more intense, more real in a way that real in a way that means I need to put effort into it. Not that I can't or that I won't or that I won't try, but It's more. And yet it's the same thing. It's the same effort. It's the same. Not that it is, or that it will be, but it feels like it. It's been the same for what, 5 years? Not that it will be, or that it has been, but it feels like it. It's probably not registering on the microphone because if I turned the gain up so that you could hear, it would probably make my voice way too loud, but even still, it feels like something's lost when there's just nothing. Nothing that you can hear that I can hear. Not that it is nothing. You might be able to hear some rumblings, some ambient noise, but it's not the same. Not that it would be the same, of course. Listening to something is a lot different from saying something, so just by the fact that I'm saying and you're listening, it's going to be different, but I don't know. How different it is to listen to someone else speaking than it is to listen to yourself speaking, to listen to yourself from past time speaking, to listen to no one speaking at all. But every time I think about that, it just makes me feel like there's something there, something that needs to be talked about, something that needs to be experienced by others, something that needs to be shown. But we don't have all the time in the world. And even if I almost do, not that I do, but even if I have the time to do something, to make something, to show something, I try, and yet, more often than not, It's not what I wanted. It's not enough effort. It's not enough time dedicated to something. It's probably addiction, you know? We're so filled with stimulus from all of the different avenues that it's hard not to get addicted to some form of stimulus. Not that I think that word has any meaning. It does, but in this context, dependent, addicted, it's all dangerously close to liking something, isn't it? Because what someone might think as just liking something, another person might say that they're addicted to it. Not that there aren't standards. The standard of if something affects your life in a negative way due to you doing that thing over doing other things, but everyone uses the word because everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be valued for their own opinions. And that's how the game is played, by saying words that mean things while not actually meaning those things. Of course, people do, but some people probably deep down don't think that they're really using it correctly. Not that you could ever, but because every time I'm doing something and every time someone else is doing something, it's always, oh, you're addicted to it. Every time it's something someone else doesn't like. Not that there isn't some truth to that matter, but it's grating, braiding. Maybe not to your love of that thing, but to your relationship and respect for that person. Not that it always is, but it makes it all the more hard to think of the genuine uses instead of all of the perceivedly ungenuine ones. All of the ones that people like to use but don't need to use. And yet, there's always some truth to it, either in the person's perception or in reality. Not that truth has a meaning in terms of abstract notions of words as opposed to rigorous, provable definitions of words, but it's all just thought, subconscious and shared subconscious and shared meaning. That's a good idea to think of the things that we think of as a collective. That's often how I get inspiration for stories. Mostly stories I don't write, but some that I do. Realizing things, deeper truths to the world, or deeper meanings, as it may be. But you can't help but wonder, if you keep thinking about all of these things, will you get lost in it? Will you lose the sense of what's tangibly real? Maybe not from your own perspective, but from the perspective others have of you. But you aren't I, even if it is me.